Hi, my name is Raphael. I go by Angel Dodger on YouTube, youtube.com/angelsdodger. This video is a response from rebuttal to Nathaniel Coy's video, Why Asian Women Love Black Men. Now, as much as Nathaniel wants to make it seem like he's just talking to himself, you can actually hear in the video, about 6 minutes in, another voice talking for a little bit. That voice is my own. The reason why you don't know that in the video is because Nathaniel doesn't want you to know that. He doesn't want you to know that he collaborated with me, and he doesn't want you to hear what I have to say. You see, when I contacted Nathaniel to do this interview originally, I wanted it to be a collaboration where my views were expressed and his views were expressed. I said explicitly that we would conduct this interview where both of us would record ourselves and conduct the interview online via Skype. When the interview was over, I would send him my footage and he would edit me in when I spoke, showing my face. And when he put up the video, he would show his name, obviously, and my name, giving me credit for my channel and my work. That is not what he did. Instead, we conducted this interview for about an hour where he talked about all certain things, sorts of things, from like Asian women to dating to God and Hurricane Sandy. I kid you not, he was all over the place. And when he put up this video, he did it without letting me know. And it is this segment that you see on Guy on Go TV. This video is also on Nathaniel's channel with no credit to me, or my face isn't there. I contacted him about this, and he said that this was a behind-the-scenes look and that he was going to upload the full video eventually, but he never told me that he was going to do a behind-the-scenes look. And even if it's behind the scenes, you still put the guy's name that collaborated with you on the video or show his face, but he didn't do that. So I said, don't contact me anymore, even though he wanted to do a project going forward, which is in the video that he explained, and I hung up on him. Since then, he's uploaded 2 more segments on his channel from that interview where, again, he doesn't give me any credit, doesn't show my face, and just expresses his views. He even cuts me off at certain points in the editing process. I should also mention that when I contacted him the day of the interview, he wasn't ready. I had to wait for him for about an hour to get his equipment ready, and I had to tell him what to do because I guess he wasn't competent, or still isn't competent in terms of editing. But that doesn't excuse you from not giving the person who disagrees with you credit for reaching out to you and doing a video for your channel. I've contacted him many times to take down all the segments. He hasn't done that. He's called me a racist because he disagrees with me, even though I didn't say anything racist on his channel. So Guy on Go TV reached out to me, and they've let me do a rebuttal video. So I thank Guy on Go TV for letting me do this, but I gotta tell you, I'm really pissed off at Nathaniel because he's hogged all the spotlight and taken all the credit for this interview, which has amassed a lot of views, obviously. And he used me to push his own agenda. He's a fucking snake. You shouldn't watch him. I'm sure he's done this with other people before. And I would like him to be ridiculed for it. Now, why is Nathaniel Coy wrong about Asian women liking black men? I think the comment section of the video on Guy on Go TV should show that a lot of people disagree with him, and rightfully so. Because we see this. It's not really something you have to study. We know where Asian women gravitate. They gravitate within their own kind, and they gravitate towards white men. Many black men and Hispanic men can attest to this. They feel it, they know it, they see it. It's in a lot of studies. OkCupid did a study that we probably have all seen at this point, where Asian women have shown their preferences or are leaning towards white men and Asian men. Furthermore, in that study from 2009 to 2014, when it comes to Asian women rating black men compared to the average guy, it's gotten worse. In 2014, Asian women rated black men on average the worst that they had since OkCupid started doing this study in 2009. But the ranking was so low that it beat out any female group of any race ranking any other male group of any race. So white women didn't rank black men as lowly as Asian women did in 2014 at any point during the study. Hispanic women didn't rank Asian men as lowly at any point during the study. Black women didn't rate white men as lowly as Asian women did to black men in 2014. You get the point. It was at its worst in 2014, and it was worse than any other pairing. So anti-Hispanic views and anti-black views are definitely ingrained within the Asian woman's mind. Now, why is this? For a number of reasons. One, it's because particularly in East Asia, whiteness is seen as a sign of status. It's seen as a sign of, elevating yourself. From what I gather, Asians early on in their history thought of whiteness as a sign of being rich, and dark skin as a sign of being poor and working in the fields because the sun would tan your skin. So to not look poor, people would whiten their skin or just aim to have lighter skin. This is translated into white worshiping. I've heard people who have gone to China talk about how, and they're white men, how they've been worshipped simply because they're white. I've heard Asian families say to their daughters, don't date black and Hispanic men, only focus on white and Asian men. And whiteness is a sign of going up for us, so we have no problem with that. This is not breaking news by any stretch of the imagination. In terms of anti-blackness, there's a lot of it, especially that's happened since the video that we did. There was a television ad in China recently where a Chinese woman takes a black guy, throws him in the washing machine after he hits on her, and out comes an Asian guy. There is a museum recently that compared black people to monkeys or animals. There was an article that came out of China recently where what was it? WeChat, the app, translated the words black foreigner to nigger. I mean, you're telling me that this doesn't translate into how Asian women view black men? You're telling me that when the Japanese man Yuta did a survey of 30 women in Japan, and they compared a white guy to an attractive black guy, even when the white guy was chubby, the Asian woman said that they still preferred the white guy no matter what. We can all point to examples where this isn't, a big deal, such as Wesley Snipes or Wayne Brady or Dave Chappelle. But one thing that a lot of these black men have in common when it comes to them dating Asian women is that they have status. Think about Utada Hikaru. Think about who's a Japanese superstar singer, if you don't know. Utada Hikaru, I'll say that again. And Ayumi Hamazaki, another Japanese singer who's a superstar in Japan. Both have been married to white men. In the case of Utada, she is now married to a former bartender who I don't even think is working, and he's Italian. In the case of Ayumi Hamazaki, she's been married to two white men. One was a no-name actor / model, and another was a pre-med student, I think. Now, why am I bringing this up? It's because Asians, particularly again East Asians, are very materialistic and status-oriented. And when you have whiteness as a sign of status in your country, or your culture even, in order to combat that, if you're Hispanic or black, you have to find other signs of, other symbols of status in order to compete against white and Asian men who are already deemed more qualified than you because their race is considered to have more economic value than your own. This includes becoming a superstar. This includes having money. So while Brenda Song dates Macaulay Culkin, who is a junkie and is white, somebody like Dave Chappelle has to be a international superstar to marry an Asian woman. So the examples that Nathaniel Coy gives, which is, Stephon Marbury and Mike Tyson, okay, they're international superstars. well, at least definitely in Mike Tyson's case, not so much Stephon Marbury, but Stephon Marbury has made a career in America. He has money. He was established with the New York Knicks. He wasn't a good player, but he has status. These examples that he gives, Nathaniel Coy does, are only prove my point in terms of how status alleviates your blackness in Asian culture. Think of Hines Ward, for example. He was born out of a Korean mother and a black father, and he was ridiculed growing up in South Korea. It was hell for him. But when he won the Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think back in 2006, they praised him back in South Korea. Oh, you're one of our own. It's because he's achieved status, and that status alleviated his blackness. This is what I'm talking about being held to a different standard when you're black and Hispanic, because you have to make up for that in the eyes of Asian women and Asian culture, because you're inferior by definition if you're black and Hispanic in their eyes. If you make money, if you have status, then all of a sudden it's all good. It's happened in my life as well. I had a dating profile on a dating app once, put my college, the college that I graduated from, on that app, and I didn't get any responses for 4 months. When I started attending graduate school at Harvard, responses about every other week. Still not that great, but you know, response here, response there. Oh, you go to Harvard? What's Harvard like? You think they're interested in me? It's because I found something that alleviated my Hispanicness. Even though I graduated summa cum laude from my undergraduate institution, didn't matter. It's because I found that status that put me on their radar. And it was Harvard. That's all I needed, Harvard, to get on their radar. This isn't, again, something that I'm just making up out of thin air. There is a lot of racism within the Asian community towards Hispanics, towards blacks, because they think of us as inferior. It affects various forms of interactions with Hispanics, blacks, and Asians, and that includes dating. So Nathaniel's idea of, well, you know, they love us and that's what it is, you know, you're just looking at it too hard. No, I mean, look at the stats, stop talking out of your ass, and see that there are a lot of people, both on the black male side, who have had horrible experiences pursuing Asian women, from them just not wanting to talk to them, to them dating Asian women and having those relationships broken up by Asian families that did not approve of the black man in a relationship. And when the Asian woman decided to marry the black man, the Asian family disowns her. Look at that. Look at all the experiences that these black and Hispanic men have faced. The Asian women who are willing to admit the racism within their own culture. The fact that white skin beauty products are all the rage in Eastern Asian cultures. How getting your eyes widened is also considered to be a good thing in Asian culture. To look more European or more Western. Look at the self-hate. Look at the way that Asian women treat black and Hispanic men. Look at how distanced these communities are. Look at the studies, and then talk to me about how they love us so much. Okay? Because it's just not true. I can go out and find somebody right now that can find that could be into me. It doesn't mean that it's not harder. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't acknowledge that it's not harder. Because people like Nathaniel Coy will continue to perpetuate this idea of, well, it's just game and you need to work on it. Everybody needs game. Nobody's denying that. But when you trivialize the fact that you can be a black man with a college degree and you approach 5 Asian women and 4 of them will just not want anything to do with you, have anything to do with you because you're black, and you've got a white guy who's got nothing going for him, no college degree, not even a high school diploma in some cases, and the Asian woman still will give him the time of day, I think there's a problem with that. I think we need to address it. And I think Asian women should be called out for it, particularly because they're willing to demonize any guy that says, you know what, I find Asian women to be hot. Oh, you're a racist, you're objectifying us. But yet they only stick to Asian and white men? Who the fuck are they to judge us for liking them when it's okay for them to have a preference. There's a woman, I believe Eliza Romero, who published an article in her blog called Aesthetic Distance, I believe, and she called out Asian women on this. You're talking about how people like you because they have a preference for you, and that's racist, but you guys only date white men? And why is that? It can't be because, again, of the self-hate within your own culture. It can't be because you worship whiteness within your own culture. It can't be because the media perpetuates this idea of white male, Asian female couples in, I don't know, various movies like Dragon Ball Evolution and The Last Samurai and what's the other one? The Great Wall. There's a bunch of other ones where that pairing is forced on our eyes on basically a yearly basis in Hollywood. This idea of anti-blackness and anti-Hispanicness in Asian communities, it affects Asian men too. It emasculates them because, again, in Hollywood, these roles that are taken by what should be Asian men are replaced by white men. It hurts all of us. And again, it should be noted because Asian women are the loudest when it comes to talking about who likes them, and is willing to call anybody a racist who likes Asian women. Not Asian men, of course, because okay, it's culture. But if you're black and you like Asian women, racist. Hispanic, racist. White, racist. Except I'll fucking date you because even though you're the ones that are objectifying me the most in the media and we worship you the most, whatever, just fucking I'll date you because I find you hot. Like, no, they should be called out on that shit. Because there's a lot of hypocrisy. And what I find so funny about Nathaniel is that, like, he keeps on saying how it's not an issue in the segment that you see, but he's the one that's talking about doing a video with me and addressing the issue. So, I mean, I honestly, to be perfectly honest, when I interviewed him, or we did the discussion, he doesn't come off as that bright. He comes off as somebody that can't look at the nuance within an issue or like look at the subtleties and just says, oh, well, look, I know some dude that's dating an Asian girl right now and he's black, so what's the problem? You see, some people don't even necessarily know that they're going through bullshit. Racist bullshit. They don't know that, you know, the girl that they're dating had to convince their parents over and over again that, look, I want to date this guy because I love him. They don't necessarily tell their boyfriends that. They don't tell them that the reason why they're together is because the black or Hispanic guy was persistent in dating them when, again, they were getting pressure from their families to not associate with black and Hispanic men. I mean, you know, let's not act like there isn't something here, because if it was a woman who felt like she was being objectified, who felt like they were being judged because they were overweight or because they were older, they would get a whole bunch of posts on BuzzFeed, a whole bunch of posts on Huffington Post, all these liberal leading news outlets talking about how there's fat shaming and age shaming and all this bullshit and we need to respect women and all of that. But if a man is clearly at a disadvantage because of his race, oh, well, you know, you complain too much, get your game together, learn how to approach women. No, it's not like that, and it's especially not like that when Asian women are willing to call out anybody who likes Asian women as a racist. There is definitely anti-black and anti-Hispanic views within the Asian community. It's not just necessarily Asian women, it's within Asian families and Asian culture, and it's not wrong for a black man or an Hispanic man to feel angry when they feel like these things are putting them at a disadvantage, because they are. They are. So Nathaniel Coy, if you want to continue to make these videos talking about how it's not that bad and it's not, you know, as big of an issue as I make it out to be, I challenge you to reach out to people specifically who are saying this, who are in interracial relationships with Asian women and have talked about the struggles, who have pursued a bunch of Asian women, who don't give them the time of day, who have gone to Asian countries and have seen the anti-black views that are expressed within those countries before you run your mouth. Because I've been there and I've experienced it and I know what the hell I'm talking about. You simply don't. And I don't appreciate you going out there and denying it, because it's not helping people out here who are going through pain. People who share my skin color and feel pain. I'm half black, I'm half Hispanic. I know exactly what my situation is when I approach Asian women and I pursue Asian women. And I know that I'm at a disadvantage. And I have facts to back me up. You just have words. So I thank you, Guy on Girl TV, for allowing me to express what I have to say and the reality of what it is to be black and Hispanic pursuing Asian women. I hope more people listen to this side, because if we listen to this and people are willing to address it based off of the way that I'm expressing it and are unapologetic about it, then we get progress. We don't get progress by ignoring it. We get progress by acknowledging this reality.